This guest we're going to experience today is Linda Maudlin. We know her as Zest. Zest is my sister. And I've shared often that being one of 11 kids, all of us pretty much have type A personalities. We've been told, hey, I don't know, maybe that's so. But we're also very different as well. For instance, our sibling Sundays now being virtual, I can see that a lot more. I can see what people have said all these years. You get to know where that family thing is, but you see distinct differences in each of us. My sister Zest has always been that person who just kind of keeps it real as she's talking with us this evening. And I'm really excited because it's pretty late for her when this conversation is occurring. She's on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast, and we're just going to do our sister thing and chat. And she never ceases to shock me, excite me, inspire me, and give me a perspective that's different than my own. So, hey, listen, enjoy.
Joining us right now is one of America's most successful female entrepreneurs.
Special guest speaker today, the first African-American woman
to own a billion-dollar company. Her name is
Janice Bryant Howroyd. She's the founder and CEO of
Act One is one of the largest staffing companies in the United States.
She's now ranked by Forbes as the second wealthiest self-made African-American woman in America, behind only Ms. Oprah Winfrey.
And she spent almost 40 years helping others find work.
Janice, great to have you on the show.
Wonderful to be here.
Thank you so much
Wonderful.
for joining us.
Janice, welcome to the program.
Janice, what about your
Girl. Listen, you know what? I am so excited to talk with you. I got so much that I want us to cover, but right now, just tell me how you doing. I know it's so late back there for your sister.
Oh, honey, I'm not bothered by that at all. I'm doing great tonight. As a matter of fact, I do better at night than days most of the time.
What are you doing at night in Tarboro, North Carolina, girl?
I do my best work at night, believe it or not.
Okay,
So
I'm going to believe it.
Oh, yeah. So night is no bother for me.
Okay, well, look, I'm glad that you're spending the night with me. Well, not literally spending the night with us in this doggone lockdown. Are you locked down in Carolina right now?
We are definitely on lockdown. Yes, indeed. And I'm getting used to it.
Oh, okay. Now, when we first started talking about this COVID, Zest, you were so opposed to going into the house. You were so opposed to not doing what you want to do. What created the shift for you, sister?
Well, I have gotten used to it. It has taken a long time, and I can hardly wait to feel like busting out again. So I'm going to be patient, and I'm going to wait it out, and I'm going to be first in line for the vaccine so that I can get back on my grind and start back moving around.
Wait a minute. Now, look, depending on where you're looking, I know you get different answers, okay? What you're listening to, what you're reading is going to impact what you're hearing. But Zest, I heard you say you're going to be first in line for that vaccine. And a lot of folks will say, you're still black, right?
I'm black. Black as hell.
Okay, but a lot of folks say black folks don't want that vaccine. They're nervous about it. So you're not with that crew, huh?
No, I'm with the crew who's going to get rid of it and keep my life moving. Yes. I spoke to my doctor 3 days ago, and I told her, put me on the first on the list when you get it.
Well, you busting myths about black folks. What other myth busters have you got for me about black folks? Let me just put it this way. Okay, you know, my family, my audience, not the ones mom and dad gave to that we have our Sunday sibling chats with, but my family, this podcast audience, Zest, a lot of them would really appreciate knowing, since a lot of them aren't black, what are some of the biggest myths about black folks that you can bust right now open for us?
Well, first of all, I'll start with the vaccines. As I recall, being a kid in first, second, third grade, we got vaccines that we didn't ask for all the time. and didn't have an option, I guess. I mean, I never got to opt out of it, and I'm still alive and I'm healthy and I'm well. So of course I want the vaccine for the virus, for the coronavirus. Yes.
One myth busted. Another myth. What other myths can you bust about Black folks, girl?
Well, I don't like right in during this time right now, they're telling us what so much that Trump is doing for the Black community. It's all white people telling you what he's doing. I haven't heard a single Black person say what he's done personally for them.
So you
don't
busting a
tell
myth
me
on
what
that?
you're doing for me. Let me tell you what you did.
Oh, wow, you
Mm-hmm.
went right there. Well, sister, what other myths can you bust after that? I mean, that was a power.
Well, give me a second, because I can probably come up with many, many more. But right now, that's up close and personal. Don't tell me about what you're doing for me.
And that would
Let
be
me
anybody,
tell
really,
you.
huh? You use the current president as an example, but that would be anybody really in any circumstance. Let me tell you what you're doing for me.
Right. Exactly right, sister. Don't just sit back and put words in my mouth, because I can speak for myself.
Lady Z, you know you have spoken for yourself for a long time. Now, I remember growing up, and you were that sister who was quick to tell Pop when you disagreed. Most of us tried to stay politically correct. You busted it right out. You were that sister who made your own decisions about what you wanted to do in life. You were that sister who was the first one to say something to me that I've been sharing a lot right now myself. That if you're in a loving relationship, it's a myth that love has to hurt.
Oh,
And
definitely.
you talk to your nieces and your nephews about that. While that's not necessarily a myth you're busting about Black people, it's a myth you're busting that women and men have been told for years, huh?
Yes, because I'm going to tell you, it's not so, and it's not supposed to be. Love should not hurt. Love
Talk
should be
about it.
wonderful. It should give you a great feeling. You shouldn't have to cry and have heartache and pain behind love. No, it doesn't work that way. Love is happiness and joy and peace. And so how
Oh,
you
you
can
sound like
turn,
you're writing an Al Green song right now.
well, I'm just saying, it really should not hurt. It should not hurt. If it starts to hurt, maybe you should go and find love someplace else.
Wait a minute. What about regrouping in that love you're in, girl?
No, because it's not very loving. I don't know if you can regroup it. So I think you might need to keep it moving forward, my love. Just go and find it someplace else. Yeah.
Oh, wow. You know what? When I want a myth buster, I gotta call you, sister, because you really do bust them right open. But let me swing away from that a little bit. We'll come back over to some more myths that you want to bust for us.
The
Okay.
love and happiness.
Yeah, I think I may even start a myth buster series with you. What myth are you busting this week? But right now, I do want to move away from the myths and get into some of the reality of the situation. And the reality is that a lot of people are on lockdown and they're not seeing how tomorrow's going to look for them. What are you seeing in Tarboro? What's happening, or in North Carolina? Or, like you follow a lot of the news and you get your news from different sources. What are you seeing locally, state, nationally, globally? And just bring me up on that, girl.
One thing that I have noticed about my great state of North Carolina, be it good or bad, we are going to make the evening news every night, the national news, not the local news. And so I find myself bracing myself for whatever we're going to be talked about. And lately it has been politics, because that's what everything is right now. And I'm really pleased to say that North Carolina has Joe Biden and Kamala Harris winning by 6 points here. So I'm really, really pleased with that. because normally we're a red state.
Oh, okay. So, normally my guests don't talk politics. It's really refreshing to have somebody who's prepared to go there. So I take it then from what you're saying that you are leaning left politically, and the reason I make that point is because I've known you practically all your life. And you have historically made some very conservative statements around fiscal responsibility. You're not a fan of throwing money around, and maybe you're busting another myth tonight. Maybe being a Democrat doesn't mean that you're necessarily fiscally irresponsible. I don't know where you're going with that, but I've known you long enough to know that you have been pretty conservative in some of your conversations, and now you're telling me, wow, I'm happy my state is going blue. So talk about that.
Well, what I can say is that something has to change, and I'm very much looking forward to it, because we can't stay on this trajectory and be successful in America.
Well, if I recall correctly, the election in 2016 was kind of determined from that same perspective, that something had to change and to change the trajectory.
Well, I'm not even going to compare this with 2016, because we're in a way different league right now. I'm telling you, and we need change in a hurry.
Okay.
Yes.
If you could design the change that you would see, what are some of the key elements that we would witness with your change if you ruled the country?
If I ruled the country, we would not have outside countries interfering with the way our system is set up in America. I would see to that at very first. That would be the first thing I would take care of. No outside anything would go on in America if I were president.
And then what next would you do?
It's a lot of things that needs to be done. And that would be my first thing. And I can't give you the order of second, third, fourth place, because we have so many things going on that needs real working on. During this COVID, I would make sure that I followed science. I would definitely do that. Because we can be successful if we follow science. And we cannot win by just saying, oh, it's not so. We really have to follow science on this.
When you were, before COVID broke out and you were in your salon, you used to have so many stories of joy and so many stories of just life in general that were going on. Did you kind of miss being in there? And as you think about how you would rule the world and following science, does it make you connect back to what was happening right before COVID?
Well, I do miss being in the salon. Like you said, it keeps me way more connected and current with local affairs. And I'm looking very much forward to getting back there hopefully in the next 6 months, because like I said, I'm going to be first in line for the vaccine, because I'm tired of sitting around being on lockdown. I don't like that at all. It puts a strain on me.
Well, I know when you were in the salon, not only did you stay abreast of local news, but you were also very busy a lot of times influencing how people were able to, let me put it this way. I remember once I asked you, if I come to town, would I be able to come to your shop and get my hair done? And you said, darling, I do not have a shop. Take your car to the shop. Bring your head to my salon. You said that a lot of times people came into the salon and they came as often for the wisdom and the conversation you could offer as they did for the do. What is that? Is that true of all salons, or was there something that you were offering up in there that just made people feel more of a sense of community or willingness to talk?
Well, I think a little bit of both. I think in most salons, the client put some trust in me, because I'm working up so close and personal with you. Then there's got to be some degree of respect from my behalf and from the client. And so hopefully I can make you comfortable enough to release while I'm servicing you. And in most cases, that's how it starts.
Well, when I think about myself now, whoever is doing my hair, they are getting close and personal, and not just in terms of proximity to me, but they're actually seeing the root of the deal, if you will. They get to the root of the matter, right? They're going up in there. And I think, I won't speak for all Black women, because, we come in all flavors, right? And all textures. In my particular instance, if you're getting up in my head, you're seeing the real deal, and you're seeing it year after year, age after age, where I am. It kind of makes it difficult, I think, emotionally, to get intellectually fake when somebody is seeing the root of the matter, so to speak.
Right.
Don't you think?
Yes. And as you get comfortable with the person and trust them with your hair, then you feel like you have formed a relationship where you can open up to each other, and you can discuss personal matters or public matters or business matters or whatever, and feel comfortable that it's going to stay there if that's where it needs to stay,
Real. And I don't even think that's just a Black salon kind of thing, because, and I'll come back to that, because you taught me early on that when you were in school, you learned to do all hair, and hair is protein. But in my own instance, I think about it, many of my girlfriends, some of my closest girlfriends are white, and I think they have the same relationship with their hair salons, and they could hardly wait to get back. People get to the root, they see what's going on, and they see you. Basically, when you got a wet head, people are seeing the real deal, right? And you may walk out of there all fabulous for the world, but that stylist, that hair salon, whoever touched you in that salon, they helped you get there ready to see the world, didn't they?
That's exactly right. That's what we do. We do our little magic for you, and we can get inside your brain.
Well, I know that's happened in my instance, and I think the massaging of the scalp, the working so close to you. So many women and men, I think, because barbershops have a life of their own as well. I think that's a place where a lot of therapy occurred. And I know that one of my husband's caregivers had shared with me, one of the things he missed most being in COVID was being able to go to his barbershop, and the life and that moment. He said it was, he wasn't a member of a club. He didn't have the finances to join a social club, but he said going to the barber shop, he said he always tipped his barber well. He said it was like his social club. They talked about everything in there that they sometimes didn't even talk about at home. He felt the enjoyment of camaraderie there, and he walked out looking and feeling better. In COVID, I think people being on lockdown, showing your roots is getting kind of old for people, but I don't think it's just about them looking their best. I think they're missing hair salons because they walked out feeling their best. They could go in grumpy and come out feeling better. And the look may have supported it, but there's a lot of conversation and a lot of therapy. And I'm not stepping into anybody's professional field, but a lot does happen in the salon that emotionally supports people, doesn't it?
Absolutely, you're so right. As a matter of fact, when you're preparing for cosmetology, when you go through the course, when you study for it, you have to take a psychology class as well.
Mm. I
And
didn't know that.
oh yes, you have to take psychology and you have to pass that course in order to become a cosmetologist. Yes.
And your clients were all ages. I mean, you were dealing with people at different phases in their lives as well, weren't you?
Oh yes, definitely.
You
Now
knew
I
grandchildren and grandparents, didn't you?
Yes, but now I chose not to do children under 12, and there was a reason for that.
Well,
Because
I've heard you before talk about your relationship to kids in general, and I don't want to like bust a myth that busts a gut as well, but you have made it clear that you're through raising kids, huh?
right, and we have a sign that says, God bless the little children. We love them like our own, but things are so much better when they are left at home. So you can take it from there. Children under 12 were not my clients.
I think that's
Mhm.
probably because of the chemicals present, huh?
Maybe so. We'll let that be the answer for it.
Yeah, but a lot of conversation does happen that I think, what did mom used to say when I was growing up? I think I used to hear something like little pitchers have big ears, or, you know, uh,
Yes,
that therapy that's going on in the salon. Maybe it's not always
it
rated
may
for
be
kids, huh?
a bit much for the children. Yes.
Hmm. But I think
Mhm.
that I know that once things had opened up here, people in California, people rushed into the hair salons, and then they got a few weeks later another shutdown and the disappointment. And I've seen people even going and sitting outside in California, outside of salons, getting services. Is that what's happening in your neck of the woods as well?
Actually, no. Some of the salons are open in full swing, and most of the nail salons are open in full swing. I chose not to go back in full swing because um, my mother lives here, and I correspond with her every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it would be safe for me to be full swing in the salon and full swing with mother. So right
Mm-hmm.
now I'm opting to be with mother.
Well, God bless you for that. I know all of us love you for that. Thank you for that.
Oh
Um,
yes.
yeah, and speaking of mother, there are a lot of families they're saying that COVID is on the up creep because of family gatherings. Thoughts on
Yes,
that?
I've actually canceled Thanksgiving this year. I'm not going to even attempt to make dinner. I
Mm,
told mother I'll check with, I know a couple of good restaurants who normally fix Thanksgiving dinner because it's on a Thursday. And I'll go out and pick up dinner for her and for myself. And
mm-hmm.
but I'm not going to cook anything. I don't plan to cook anything because I don't want to have to turn down guests who, if I'm cooking, they're definitely going to want to come by and grab a plate.
Okay, so you're all of that, right? You're
Well,
all
I
of that in the
mean, that's
kitchen, right?
that's what the people say.
Uh, that's going to be a real different scene this year because Thanksgiving is typically a huge event for you.
It is. It's my big grand opening for Christmas. Now, I'm not going to promise you I won't be cooking for Christmas
Uh-huh.
because that's my favorite time of year.
Uh-huh.
So I probably will cook Christmas dinner, but I'm not going to cook for Thanksgiving. Mhm.
Okay. All right. Uh, what about shopping? Are you going out shopping or doing what are you doing? I mean, how I guess I should say, how quarantined are you? That's what I should ask you.
Well, it's going to depend. I'm not an early shopper, so I have not even entertained Christmas shopping yet. But I am a shopper who likes to go in the store. So I'm gonna duck in and out of TJ Maxx and duck in and out of the mall, and yes, but depending on how our numbers are here, and I think we're doing okay.
How the stores treating you back there when you go into the stores? What are you noticing during COVID, and that's different from pre-COVID, positive or minus?
Well, I'm not doing a lot of shopping. I'm in and out of the grocery store, but that's normal. And but so far as shopping, I'm not doing that right now.
Okay, all right.
Mhm.
But are you how
And
are
I've never
prices
been
holding?
I've never been very much on Walmart shopping, so I don't consider that shopping.
Oh, okay. What's that
Mhm.
about?
Well, I just don't care for their products. It's too much. I prefer, I'm a shopper, I'm a strip mall shopper. I'll go here and there. I don't want a big superstore to give me everything I'm looking for.
So you like strip mall shopping better than you do going into a Walmart, or I know you like TJ Maxx though, right?
Yes, that's strip mall.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I like to pop in and pop out. I don't care for the big mega malls and all of that because it's too much unnecessary stuff for me. I like to go straight to the point.
Well,
Yes,
you kind of pride yourself on that, whether you're shopping or whether you are communicating. You're straight to the point kind of person anyway, right?
I am that. Yes.
Okay, let's get straight to the point on some stuff. If you've already made it clear that you are pro Biden Harris, so getting straight to the point. If you were going to throw some advice to candidate Harris, what would it be right now?
I would dress her a bit differently.
How so?
Today she wore black slacks and a blue jacket. And I didn't like that at all. A white top. Um, I would I would ask her not to look so windblown all the time. Calm down and be a little bit more reserved, maybe.
And you mean like hold, tone herself down? Black women don't like to be told to tone down, Zest.
No, I don't mean tone down. I mean she looks windblown every time I see her. It's almost like she's in the wind.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right. What other advice would you give her?
I think she's doing a great job. I don't think that she needs to tweak too many things. But that line of dress, I would take care of that for her.
How about candidate Biden?
I think Joey B is the right person. Um, I like his ideas. He may not be able to put them over as well as we would like for him to. And I think that once he gets in there, he will be able to communicate it differently. But yeah, I like Joey B a lot. I thought he was a big deal when he was vice president.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
remember he made that little statement on a hot mic. This is a big effing deal. That's how I feel about him now.
Oh,
This
okay.
is a big, yeah, yeah.
An advice for candidate Pence.
I don't have any advice for him. I think he's a punk, and well, maybe I shouldn't say that, huh? But no, I don't have any advice for him. I'm gonna let him hang himself.
And what about candidate Trump?
Is he a candidate? I didn't even realize he was running. I thought he was running away from the job.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Okay. All
It
right.
looks that way to me.
Well, I guess I asked you to get to the point, and you got to the point as you see it. Let's go into another area and let's get to the point. What about
Okay.
young kids today? The under 30s.
I'm so glad you asked me that. I just saw a commercial on TV before I started talking with you, and it was kids who were 15, 16, and 17. They didn't make the cut. And they were worried about it, saying in their commercial, they were saying, if it had only been next year, then I could vote and let my voice be heard. Please save us. We are the seventh generation. They're calling themselves the seventh generation. And they all really were disappointed that they could not vote. And I thought that was so cute.
Oh, well, so they are woke to the idea that
They
their
are totally woke.
citizenship and their vote matters. Any advice to them as you get to the point?
For their future? When they're
period.
old enough to vote, you mean?
Any advice for them, period?
Oh, yes, of course. Stay woke. You just mentioned that they are woke. I want them to stay woke. And I think that they will. I think they're going to be great. And everyone that I'm referring to now, they'll be ready for the next 4 years for sure.
So you like the young generation. You're not bashing them out.
Oh, no, I don't bash them at all because, honey, as long as it may seem that it was, for me, it hasn't been that long. I remember when I was there as well.
All right. I do remember you saying once that you thought that when it comes to their romantic activities, that they act as though there's no tomorrow, and there's a good side to that and there's a bad side to that. How about that?
Well, what I heard, somebody did a study, and they're claiming that kids are not sexually active like they used to be. So I don't know if that's true or false.
But in terms of your thoughts for them, what would you tell them? What are you telling your nieces and your nephews?
About
sex, about themselves?
Well, I let them go in and live their best life. I always recommend that they be careful and be safe, but I don't bash them for what they do because I don't think it's fair to bash them. I think you live and you learn.
And right now, with those who are university aged, or even any school really right now, but I'm thinking about the universities because it's homecoming week, and they're having to have their virtual homecomings. And I know you used to love going to the North Carolina A&T State University homecoming. Aggie Pride. You used to love doing that. How are you feeling for the kids right now?
I'm praying that they are masked up and staying safe. I want them to have a good time, but I want them to wear their mask and avoid big crowds.
I know that the concerts were a big part of it. The step shows were a big part of homecoming. And what are the kids doing now for homecomings? What is the program that they follow?
I have no idea. Most of the kids are leaving the campus. Well, leaving for the fall and winter break. Most of them are getting out now, and they won't go back until around the end of January.
Okay.
And hopefully they'll go back with the vaccine.
You think a vaccine is that imminent, that close?
Well, they're saying that yes. They're saying yes. Now, I don't think everybody will already have it lined up to be vaccinated, but they're saying yes.
But you say you're going to be first in line. Do you think there should be a protocol to who gets the vaccine first or not? Keeping it real.
Yes, of course. And the healthcare workers should be the first ones up front. And then, of course, all of the, like the law enforcement and the fire departments and everybody who has really got to be out there and face it every day.
All our essential workers who are heroing us through this.
Well, yeah, but then essential is a long way. And they won't be first. Everything that we consider essential. So I did call out in the order that I feel like it should be given. I think our congressmen and senators need to get it.
Yeah,
I think that they are.
So you want to keep them alive, keep them doing the job.
Yes, of course. And then I'll come in line right after them. Yes, honey.
We're laughing because I think it's important to laugh. But before you close me up on this idea of who gets the vaccine first, didn't I see somewhere? I believe it. I don't know which country it was, but they said they were making a decision contrary to historically how they offered care, and they were choosing not to take care of the elderly first. They were taking care of the young people who were sick first, and they felt that it was better for national security for them, quote unquote, to take care of the younger people who had a quicker shot at surviving than the elderly. What do you think about that?
Well, now that's a double-edged sword as far as I'm concerned, because they also say that the young people recover better and quicker and easier than the older people. So I'm not sure, and especially since I'm on that 50% side of the older than younger, I kind of think that I'm leaning toward the seniors being taken care of as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because they do claim that kids can shake it off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But we are hearing that with this disease, even if you appear to have shaken it off, as you say, that it does internal damage and it ages your system internally because it's viral. Any thoughts on that? When you think about young people and old people, any thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's still a bit early on to make judgment calls on it, because because it could be long-term effects on anyone who gets it, but they're not sure yet. And I'm just going to follow science and listen to them and hope that they can give us the guidelines to follow in trying to conquer this thing, you know? I really don't know. I just don't know. And I think anybody who's trying to tell you that they know, they're kidding themselves, you know, because at first we had heard that once you get it, then you're immune to it. Now they're saying your immunity might last 4 months maybe, and then you're back in the sack with it again. You know what I mean? So I don't know what to think right now. It's still a monster, and it's still a mystery as far as I'm concerned.
It's amazing though when you think about it, girl. I've said this more than once now. This is the first time we know of in history where the whole world is looking to solve the same thing at the same time. That's a big deal.
Yes, it is, but I have confidence and I have faith. And I think that we are going to conquer it. And I'm going to try my best to stay as far away from it as possible until I can have the vaccine and hopefully be rid of it.
When you talk about having faith, you're talking about faith in science, faith in God, faith in humanity. I mean,
all of the above. All of the above. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you think all of it's required?
I do. I really think all of it's required. And you're cheating yourself if you don't follow that. I think it all works together. Mm-hmm.
When you consider a year ago, like I have a friend and he and his wife worked really hard. They were professionals. They earned a really good living, and they had just retired before COVID. They had great plans. They actually planned their retirement so that they would be young enough and healthy enough to get out and do some of the stuff that they couldn't do. And I was talking with them this past week, and they weren't depressed. They're really smart people. But each of them shared that they felt depressed over what was supposed to be some of their most fun time, and they worked so hard and so long for, and they were on lockdown. And I was like, wait a minute, you guys, you're still in love. There's so much you can do. Treat it like a honeymoon. Go at it. Drop it like it's hot. You know, do all this, that kind of stuff. And she laughingly said, yeah, we tried that. But honestly, we had ideas about what we'd be doing now. And it's kind of depressing to her that they're kind of stuck on lockdown. I imagine a lot of people, for a lot of different reasons, are bringing thoughts into this, huh?
Well, yeah, but I don't want them to move too fast on that. Now, it's only been about 8 months, right? Around 8 months since we've been affected with this COVID. And I don't think that determines that you can no longer have a good life or a good retirement. And I don't think we're stuck here forever. So I don't recommend depression this soon, this early on in the game. You know, I don't see where that could, I know it's a bump in the road for everybody, but for me, I'm not going to look at it like, oh, I lost a whole year of my life. No, I didn't lose a year of my life. I survived a year of my life that some people did not. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And I'm very much looking forward to what I'm going to do in the springtime, you know? So for her to feel like, well, I don't want them to feel that because they retired early and thought they would have gone to maybe 3 different countries in this last 8 months that they couldn't go to. It doesn't mean you can't still go. It just
Actually,
means
that's kind of what they were saying, that they had this fabulous, you know, they were doing, and you mentioned 8 months, they were doing an 8-month round the world kind of thing. And they were, you know, she had started shopping for it and they were really excited. And then they got slammed with a shutdown.
Well, I don't think that they should be they shouldn't take it that hard. I think they'll still get a chance to enjoy retirement.
But you know, sister, look, you're not in a salon now, but how do you cope? I mean, what is your advice? Your what's your therapy for people? What do you recommend people do?
Well, like I said, for myself, what I do, I pray, but I pray anyway. But I'm praying a little bit more now for this thing to come on to an end and you know, start a good life over again. And I have faith that we are going to come to the end of this.
Well,
This
you know,
too shall pass.
I live under our idea that you know, faith without works is dead. Prayer without works is dead. What else
Yes.
can one do? Once you pray, what do?
Then you just wait. You wait for the answer. It's
So
coming.
you're not gardening right now.
No, I'm not gardening, but I'm just telling you that I don't take it like this is doomsday. It's not doomsday for me. I'm still alive and active and probably happy. I mean, I miss doing the things that I want to do, but I'm going to get to do them again. I believe that.
I like
So
that. I like that. Now you say you're probably happy.
well, yes, I'm doing the best I can right now. I'm not sitting around crying and sobbing all day thinking, oh, my poor, pitiful me, because it's not poor, pitiful me. I'm really pleased with the way things are going in my life, other than being on lockdown.
Yeah, you did mention something that was quite sobering, quite gave me a pause. You know, you're thriving through something that others have not made it through, and that's a lot to be grateful for. I think gratitude is probably part of that prayer, huh?
Oh yes, absolutely, yes.
Well, look, you know, with all my guests, we do a thing called 4 for 4, and our family loves 4 for 4. So here's what you got to do. I'm going to ask you 4 questions, and to each question, you provide 4 answers. Take your time, give your best answers, because the whole world is waiting to hear what you got to say, Lady Z. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, first question. You get to invite anybody, whether they're through history, alive, or dead. You get to invite anybody to dinner. Who's at your dinner table? 4 guests.
Luther Vandross. He loves to
Why?
eat.
Now you have to tell us why, okay? Why each guest is invited. So Luther, you're not gonna make him sing for a supper.
Of course, but he loves to eat. He talked about eating all the time. So I'm going to invite Luther to be a dinner guest with me.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to invite, you said living or dead, right?
Living or dead anytime in history.
Okay. I'm going to invite Curtis Mayfield.
Ooh, okay.
Mhm.
And Kurt, why? You like that philosophy side of him? Or again, he got to sing for his supper?
Curtis has to sing for me. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And
All
if you
right.
notice, I'm sticking with me, and you know that, right?
I didn't know that, but is
Well,
there
you
something
you've
I
heard
need to
two.
know?
You've heard two so far, right?
Yes.
Okay. And let's see who's gonna sit there. Number 3, President Barack Obama,
And Michelle
and
makes 4.
he doesn't have to sing for his dinner.
Is
And
Michelle going to be the 4th?
no, these are my dinner guests, not yours. Just a
Oh,
moment
okay.
now.
Okay.
And the doctor, Donald Irvin.
Oh,
Mhm,
okay.
mhm.
Wow. So you've got a table filled with men. I can hardly wait to learn what you're going to serve them up, but I guess I'll wait for that.
Well, men love to eat. Remember that. Women try to be cute and dainty. Men love to
Oh,
eat.
women, I'm not going to let you throw us all under the bus. You and
Well,
I
I
eat.
mean, those are my dinner guests, sister.
Okay, all right.
Mhm,
Those are your guests. Curtis
mhm.
Mayfield, Luther Vandross, Barack Obama, and you're going to have a doctor there. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, you gave me 1 for 4. Let's do 2 for 4, okay?
Okay.
Um what are the best 4 pieces of advice you will give this podcast family, understanding many are 35 years and younger? 4 pieces, whether it's advice given you or advice you curated through your life. 4 pieces of
Okay.
advice.
Number 1, always stay true to yourself and know yourself. Know who you are, who you're dealing with at all times, and stay true to it. Number 2, I can't speak for everybody. I can speak for me, for what works for me, and it may work for you. How is that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 2, always carry yourself with respect. Always try to respect others, and therefore you will receive respect from them. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's really important in life. Be
Aretha
respectful.
sang about it. Aretha sang about it. And the
Mm-hmm.
Staple Singers did too. The Staple Singers did too.
Yes, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the third measure that I would say to try to follow. Hmm. I have to think about what works for me. Honesty is the best policy for me. If you tell one lie, then you got to tell another one, and then another one, and another one. So just bite the bullet and just be honest and truthful. And I think you'll go far with that. Even when you feel like you might ought to squeeze in something that's not true, don't do it. Just keep it real. Keep it true. And maybe number 4 would be, love yourself.
Wow. I think that speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Yes. Love yourself.
We're 2 for 4. Let's go
A
3
lot of
for
people
4.
don't. A lot of
Oh,
people don't.
a lot of
So
people don't what?
a lot of people don't love. You know, they don't know how to love themselves. They don't know how to embrace themselves. So I think you should try to create that for yourself. You'll be happier.
Why do you think a lot of people don't love themselves? Because, I've heard that before in different settings.
Well, I'm not sure. Maybe they don't live up to what they think they should be, or don't fulfill their expectations from their own selves. I'm not sure. But you better learn to deal with it and love who you are. And
Mm,
maybe you'll become that person that you don't think has quite succeeded.
mm. Do you think
hmm
a lot of people maybe invest so much of their emotion, their thought in comparing themselves to others that they start to fall inferior in their minds?
Well, I'm sure that some have that problem. I could never, well, I can't honestly speak on it because I've never had that problem. I don't know anybody who's better than me. I don't know a soul who's better than me.
Mm, mm.
So,
I do like your last piece of advice, though. Love yourself. Let's
yeah.
go 3. Let's go 3 for 4. What books do you recommend? 4 books do you recommend that people read?
Now I'm not the right person to refer you to what you should read. Give me a different question.
Actually, that is the question. So let's wait for you. Make some recommendations. You're not saying they should read them. You're recommending it.
It doesn't mean it's what I like to read.
Right, right.
Okay. Okay. Um, Books of poetry are always great. I think anybody can grab a book full of poetry and enjoy
Mhm,
that. I
mhm.
would certainly hope. I don't want to call artists by name. I don't want to just like list books that you read. Read 4 books of poetry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, and let's go 4 for 4. Um, Music. What are you listening to these days, and why?
Well, I'm all over the board these days because I do like almost every music. I walk into a store and something is playing. I'll sing along with it, and people will look and say, "Oh, you know that?" Yes, I do know that. Um, but most of the music that I like to listen to is just regular soul music. I listen to some rap music, as long as it's not too vulgar. Um, I listen to pop music, and I listen.
Lean me in on 4 artists you're listening to. People are gonna want to sample a little bit. Lean me
Okay,
into 4
well,
artists.
I've listed 2 of you. That 2 of them will be at my dinner table, which is Luther Vandross and Curtis Mayfield. I listen to old music and I listen to new music. I like Al Green. I like the Isley Brothers. I like Marvin Gaye. I like Michael Jackson. I like many, many, many different artists, and I appreciate them all. I really do.
Well, listen, your playlist is probably one of the most popping if you love soul music of anybody. So just by the artists you've listed. So I
Mhm.
guess that's where you are right now. But you did say you can go across genres too, huh?
Of course I can. Yes. hmm
Okay. Well, I've enjoyed this chat. Is there anything else you want to share with us before I shout you down? Because I know it's probably midnight for you now.
Oh, I think we did. I think we covered what we wanted to cover tonight.
Well, it's been a pleasure for me. Thank you so much. And listen, sister, from my heart to your home, God bless you.
God bless you. I
Thank
enjoyed it.
you. Thank you.